SOUQ morning once again. It's Friday and we are excited. Well, guess what? We've been excited 24 hours before you. Why? Because on the aisle and on SOUQ, the weekend starts on Thursday. All right. Welcome to the show, SOUQ Business Landscape, on a lovely, lovely clement morning. It had rained, but we're not wet. We are just cool like that. It's SOUQ News Television, and we're on to the first programming for the day. We'll take a look at headlines, business headlines from business publications from across the world. We're discussing how it affects the economy, how they're shaping policy from country to country, how the investments are going on, stock markets, and all that good stuff that helps you up your money. That coffee break calls right now. When I run out and go for it, stay here with me. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. That was a quick one. All right, so we jump onto business day. And before we go, I want to remind you, remember and do not forget, it's the hashtag SBL. Always, once it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday and Friday, it's a hashtag SBL all day, although officially we do from 7 to 8, right? Business Day Nigeria. ExxonMobil's $10 billion in Nigeria's deepwater assets to unlock 180,000 barrels per day. Once again, ExxonMobil's $10 billion in Nigeria's deepwater assets to unlock 180,000 barrels per day. This sounds good. To many, it's not up to what we are being touted to produce. But hey, Cardoso lures investors with historic OMO yields. Cardoso lures investors with historic OMO yields. Yield on 1 year, OMO bill hits 32%. Naira as well rebounds to 1,576 Naira to the dollar. How filmmakers can tap into $1 million biopics market. This is a special article on page 30, and it's looking good for all the creatives out there, especially for our Nollywood brethren. You gotta go check this out. This is on page 30. Quick, we'll move on to Business Daily in Kenya. Kenya eyes UAE-backed 193 billion shilling debts as IMF delays. IMF is delaying that check, as we like to call it. But Kenya is eyeing the UAE-backed 193 billion shilling debts. Treasury seeks to diversify financing options for them. Then on Wednesday, we talked about SOUQ. The SOUQ bond is seen as cheaper than the Euro bond, which is an ongoing struggle for them. CBK insiders, bankers vie for second deputy governor posts. CBK insiders, bankers vie for second deputy governor posts. Catch that one on page 6 as well as we move on. Delays in repairing leaking fuel pipe disrupts flights at JKIA, one of the popular airports. They're talking about delays in repairing. There's a fuel pipe bust and it disrupts flights. And I can imagine, it reminds me of down here when we go through those issues, delays for hours. Sometimes we need to talk about those early flights as well. So it's not all bad. Spam emails cost Kenyan banks in privacy breaches. I don't know how this works. Spam emails cost Kenyan banks in privacy breach. These emails come at the speed of about 5 to 6 in a minute. Guys, you need to slow down. So now it's costing Kenyan banks. Okay. Banks forecast bigger cuts to base lending rates. Banks forecast bigger cuts to base lending rates. Lending rates are being abased, and banks are looking at that, preparing their minds out in Kenya, because the lending rates going to go up. So another article that catches our eyes: if health information exchange system is implemented well, this is a quote, by the way, if it's implemented well, it has what it takes to be a game changer. Catch this one on page 29. It's something that's speaking to, well, the game changer for the day. We move on to South Africa Business Day. HSBC to exit as South Africa banks hold firm. HSBC to exit as South Africa banks hold firm. HSBC is quite big. It's one of South Africa's biggest banks across Africa, actually, the Southern Africa and the East. But they are looking to exit. Hey, Ramaphosa tells of his Musk bromance. So at the last episode on Wednesday, Ramaphosa was talking about the meeting he took with Elon Musk and what they're doing with Starlinks as it entered Kenya for the first time. And he talked about making sure it infiltrates across the country. So Ramaphosa tells of his Elon Musk bromance. I wonder why they had to put this headline like this. Bromance indeed. Okay, poultry body eyes VAT exemption. Poultry body eyes VAT exemption is something that is looking good, because when we're talking food, especially with the inflation across board, not just in Nigeria, we're talking across the world, not just Africa as well. So if VAT exemption is coming to poultry, to the poultry body as it affects them as a whole, it's something to be should I say, what's the word? Celebrated. That's the word I was looking for. NASPA's record as 10-cent soars. NASPA records as 10-cent soars. Starts on the headline. It starts on the front page. I beg your pardon, and you could close it on the back. Hollywood and AI. Rom-com in the making. Hollywood and AI. Hollywood and AI. I don't know if Hollywood, if there's infusion, let me say when, because it's looking like it's happening already. When there's infusion of AI into Hollywood, I think it's, for many, let me be on the fence on this one. For many, it's amazing because AI is infiltrating everywhere, infiltrating all the creative arts. We're talking media, print, radio, filmmaking across board. So this is something that many are celebrating, but many are also looking at it as it would strongly downplay the arts. But let's see. We'll keep an eye on that one. Robust strategy can boost South Africa global trade performance. Robust strategy can boost South Africa's global trade performance. Well, if it's going to have a boost, how strong is the boost? If it's actually going to have a boost, people doubt it might not. But let's see. So Business posts World Bank to provide $3.5 billion to support Bangladesh's reforms. World Bank to provide $3.5 billion to support Bangladesh's reforms. There's something about Bangladesh, right? There's something really special about Bangladesh. Last week, if it's not last week, I think it was on Monday, the show on Monday, we talked about, we had, when we were looking at Bangladesh, we had 4 headlines where IMF gave them some money. The World Bank gave them some money. Germany gave them some money, and this is looking good. So World Bank is back again and talking about supporting the reforms. Bangladesh is looking good. It's looking like fertile ground. I just might be moving out there soon. China wants to invest in solar panel manufacturing, deepen ties. China wants to invest in solar panel manufacturing, deepen ties. And so this is how China moves, of course. China gets into a place and it takes over. So, well, I'm sure we could do with more solar panels because out here in Africa, it's something that is contributing, supporting, if I may use the word, our electricity sector. I'm gonna leave it at that so we don't come off as something else on this about this news. It's good news, by the way. Hilsa prices rise by 36% compared to last year. Hilsa prices rise by 36% compared to last year. Catch all the news, all the back and forth between Hilsa and the economy on page 10. Bangladesh inflation to rise by 10% in fiscal year 2025. This is coming to us courtesy of ADB, Africa Development Bank. It says Bangladesh inflation to rise by 10%. Now, if we're talking about Bangladesh inflation rising, what's with all the loans that came in? It's something we have to wrap our heads around, but hey. Uzbekistan urged to provide more market access for Bangladeshi products. Uzbekistan urged to provide more market access for Bangladeshi products. And most of Bangladeshi products are, if I'm not mistaken, fabric-based, basically. So Uzbekistan is urging them to stay with them, if put correctly. Economic Task Force to prioritize reforms, project discipline. Economic Task Force to prioritize reforms, project discipline. All right, on to Financial Express out in India. Asia is just a lovely continent with all the good news coming through. Financial Express India, government retains H2 borrowing goal. Government retains H2 borrowing goal. So it's talking about gold bonds are to be used as and when required. Gold is something that has backed them for a while, and they're talking about their borrowing goals will stay for a while and supported by gold bonds. New IT portal to fast track refund of unclaimed shares. New IT portal to fast track refund of unclaimed shares. So the blueprint prepared facility is to be up and running by what year now? Blueprint prepared facility is supposed to be up and running by next year, early next year, 2025. Butch hopes for equity market-like growth in core bonds. Butch hopes for equity market-like growth in core bonds. President Modi launches 3 India-made computers. This is such great news. So Modi launches 3 India-made computers, and it's something they're celebrating today, and it's worthy of mention across the world, because once you're a producing economy, you're a producing country, it ups everything about revenue and income for you and eases things up. Wazir X gets 4-month moratorium from Singapore courts. Wazir X gets 4-month moratorium from Singapore court. FMCG firms see rural growth topping urban. Wow. FMCG firms see rural growth topping urban. It's something, a discussion I was having sometime last week. We're talking about who are the people, of course, the food inflation and all that's going on, who are the ones that are purchasing more, seemingly, because we realize that in the rural areas, more purchases are going on. For instance, many of the products, many of the manufacturers, especially FMCG, by the way, sorry, are making and cutting down on production. Not just cutting down, they're making bite-sized products. So let's say, for instance, 100 mg products, they're making 10, 15, 20 sizes, smaller sizes. So in the rural areas, people are buying more. Let's say the things that cost, let me use bread, for instance. Bread will cost 2,000 naira. But they're going as far as considering people because of the lack of money availability. So they're making, for instance, bread at 2-3 slices and it's costing less. So when in the rural area they're buying more of those, turnover growth is increasing. Amazing stuff. Government hints at rise in prices of ethanol sugar. Government hints at rise in prices of ethanol sugar. There's a special that caught my eye, and guess what it is? Why Telegram is a problem for governments. That's it. So the messaging app has agreed, right, to provide some user data to law enforcement agency. Why is the question? Catch the full gist on page 8. But as we talk about this, user data, we're talking privacy here now. It's something that is a thin line akin to breaking the law. But catch that full gist on page 8. Accenture sees fiscal year 2025 revenue growth of 3 to 6%. Accenture sees FY25 revenue growth of 3 to 6%. That's a great thing. That's good news. Market surge to close at new record high. Market surge to close at new record high. Still in financial respect, India is booming. Listing time cut to T+3 for debt securities issue. Listing time to cut T+3 for debt securities issue. Center not try to take on WhatsApp spam menace. Complaints are going on about spam on WhatsApp. I guess WhatsApp is taking the toll of emails. So they're saying that it's Center not try that will take on WhatsApp spy menace, and we look forward to that. Meta debuts first ever AR glasses called Orion. Facebook debuts their first ever AR glasses called Orion, and it's something that Apple has been in the market, or rather been in the garage working on. They've been working on that for a while. It was almost launched earlier this year, but it was held back. So Facebook has jumped the gun and check out their first AR glasses called Orion. IndusInd Bank aims to triple AUM to $30 billion in just 3 years. IndusInd Bank aims to triple AUM to $30 billion in 3 years. China to issue $284 billion of sovereign debts. China to issue $284 billion of sovereign debts. We'll segue to Gulf Times business in Qatar. Natural gas offers key advantages as cleanest hydrocarbon fuel. Natural gas offers key advantages as cleanest hydrocarbon fuel, says Al Attiyah. Al Attiyah is in charge of the environments, and he says, and it's in quotes, cleanest hydrocarbon fuel is what natural gas is going to be giving them. Oil markets seen to face soft demand. Oil markets seen to face soft demand. Brent is expected to average 73 in 2025. Brent expected to average, say, $73 in 2025. Qatar banks net profits to remain stable despite rate cuts. Qatar banks net profits to remain stable despite rate cuts. And the emphasis is on stable because it's in quotes. And that's a good thing happening in this era of inflation and all that's going on. China is said to weigh $142 billion capital injection to bolster top banks. China said to weigh $142 billion capital injection to bolster top banks. We had on the show, my analyst, Dr. Idausa, has said a lot of times, and we always reiterate that banks are the only ones seemingly, allegedly, cleaning out in this period. So if the injection of $142 billion is going to use to prop them, many ask why. Okay. Business Standard India, we're on to you. US tariffs risk Chinese goods flooding India. US tariffs risk Chinese goods flooding India. They have made tariffs up to 100% on key items from China, which takes effect today. Tariffs up to 100%, that's double. They want them paying double. If not, slow your roll. Don't take over our markets. That's what they're saying. And it's taking effect today. As well as India's trade barriers with China is posing such a big risk to their business. That's another reason. Now, top 5 imports, as they you could see on the front page. Iron and steel is 1. Lithium ion battery is 2. Aluminium ore, 3. Aluminium ore and concentrates is 3. Then syringes with needles, 4, and graphites. Those are the top 5. BSFI sector valuation discount at new high. BSFI sector valuation discount at new high. And this valuation, they're talking about the rating has been much sharper, mostly for non-BFSI companies. So it's a back and forth. Promoter dilution in small, mid-caps surges. Promoter dilution in small, mid-caps surges. So similar levels were last seen as far back as the fiscal year of 2007. And we're talking, they're heading for exits, small cap, mid cap firms with Q on Q fall, right? Quarter on quarter fall is what's happening in their promoter stake, as well as lower profits. And for these companies where the promoters are sharing, that shareholding, basically their shares have declined and they're still finding a way to hold on to it. Also, dilution that's in it, the big pharma, of course, they're among the key sectors. And the numbers of the company based on change is what's in the stake for promoters. Still, quarter on quarter, as in percentages, is something to check out for us on the front page. Take a look at all the tables and the graphs to get a clearer picture. Pickup in public expenditure may keep growth steady. Pickup in public expenditure may keep growth steady. It's coming from FinMin, the finance ministry, and it sounds like not a warning bell, but to let them know what's going on and how it's going to play out. MFs dive into FOF waters to fish for debt alternatives. Such a lovely copy. MFs dive into FOF waters to fish for debt alternatives. Metals, auto stocks drive indices to fresh highs. Wow. Metals, auto stocks drive indices to fresh highs. Now, this one says US economy rebounds, sees 3% growth in quarter two. 3% might seem small, but it's huge at the same time. For growth in the second quarter, that's something to celebrate. OpenAI audacious plan to make AI flow like electricity. OpenAI audacious plan to make AI flow with audacity. AI is going to be flowing like electricity, and it's something they're celebrating. We're looking forward to that one. We segue on to Financial Times, our last publication for the day. Saudis, okay, UK and US, Financial Times. Saudis ready to ditch $100 oil targets and raise their outputs. So the kingdom aims to regain market share. They've lost for a while, and it's looking like a good move for them. Long spell of subdued prices assumed is something they don't want to do much. So Saudi Arabia is ready to abandon its unofficial target of $100 a barrel for crude oil as it prepares to increase its output in a sign that the kingdom is resigned to a period of lower oil prices. Now, this is according to people familiar with the country's thinking, and it says it might play out as they have planned. Washington is focusing on Zelensky's move to soothe Trump anger after visiting swing states factory. It's something for you to check by yourself. We don't need to get into that. When you hear Zelensky, you hear Ukraine, you hear Russia, you know what all that is about. No, so there's a big read on page 15, Musk's space battle to grab radio spectrum. This is one that I should be studying myself. Musk's space battle to grab radio spectrum. It's a big read on page 15. Go check it out if you're interested. Then there's a special publication, editorial. It says, are machines better at truth than humans? Are machines better at truth? Truth in quotes, than humans. It's won by John Thornhill. John Thornhill is such a beautiful writer for the Financial Times, and it's an exciting read, and to go check it out myself. To take a look at the briefings on the side, Altman poised to gain as OpenAI chases profit plans. So AI startup is moving ahead with plans to restructure as for low profit group, and is in discussions to give Chief Sam Altman, of course, a stake to confront a series of his exits, including Chief Tech Officer Mira. Back and forth. OpenAI has been on the news for a minute. Israel defies truce efforts. That's another one on the briefing. Delay hits Ubisoft shares. Delays hit Ubisoft shares. Beijing is promised to intensify fiscal fraud, like next China's stimulus pledge. Now, the city of Beijing has promised to intensify fiscal support for the economy, fueling markets with hopes of more intervention just days after announcing the biggest monetary stimulus since COVID. Sounds good. Turk's biggest bond sale, right? Now, Ankara has raised $3.5 billion in its biggest international bond sale, supported by a buyback of debt, as Turkey seeks to bolster investor sentiment with a bold economic turnaround program. German growth warning. So the country, Germany, is a leading economy that institutes have downgraded Germany's growth forecast for this year, and it's warning that its struggle to return to pre-pandemic rates of economic expansion is high, and it's something that might be immediate. Spate of blockbuster deals totaling 2.3 trillion lifts value of global M&A by 17%. Spate of blockbuster deals totaling $2.3 trillion lifts value of global M&A by 17%. So a series of mega deals led to a 17% increase in the value of global mergers and acquisition in the first 9 months of this year. With this recent spate of blockbuster takeover approaches adding to hopes of a comeback for M&A. Raw recruits put Ukraine battle plans in jeopardy. They're talking about Kiev's forces that have inflicted huge losses on them, and catch that one as it goes down. Also, we also like to wrap up Financial Times with the news of world markets. Take a look at the bottom of the front page. Stock markets news, currencies, crypto, commodities, and government bonds. We've come to the end of SOUQ Business Landscape. My name is Hans Mbah. Thank you for staying here and engaging. Remember, hashtag SBL is the keyword. Check us out on YouTube and across all social media. Engage with us on these headlines you've heard. Engage with me on the Telegram one. Have a lovely morning as you get onto our next programming at 8, early exchange on SOUQ News Television. Thank you for watching.